Malachi, how's it going? Melissa Knight, hello. How's it going? J-Bug Osias? Animal lover? How's everyone doing? Wise man, how do I feel about digital art, drawing on iPads and tablets? It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it if you got the skills to know what you're doing. I think people who don't know how to draw use it as a crutch because of all the extra abilities you can kind of get from a digital device. But that really shows through in their artwork. But it's just another tool. I'm just old school. I prefer to draw by hand. I want paper. and pencil and ink on paper. That's just how I am. But digital tools are, it's just another tool. Like, yeah, you can either draw or you can't. AI art is garbage. I'm very much against it. Lana Cool, would you make posters? I mean, I guess it depends on what you mean. Like, would I? Have I? Why would I? I guess I don't know what that means exactly, but Patrick Pierce, have I ever used one of those scanning machines that put images in the computer? You mean a scanner? Is that what you're talking about? Seth Young, how's it going? Well, yeah, Patrick, how else do I get my images into the computer? How else do I clean them up and send them off for files to a printer? Like, of course I've used a scanner. I have one. I have a scanner right there. It's an 11 by 17 scanner. I have one. I own one. That's just right, Nate. Wise man, I did not go to art school.
Unlock more savings with a Snish now. On household prices, shop weekly ad and click digital coupons worth over $600.
Jeffrey, what's up? Yeah, I went to the Liefeld School of Art. You're right.
Save big and
Thanks, Gavin. Appreciate it. Aravinthian, hello? Thanks, Nate. I appreciate it. Trying to make it look like I know what I'm doing at least a little bit. Wise man, how long did it take me to study human anatomy? There's no end. You don't start and then have an end point. You're always studying human anatomy. There's no end game to that. It's a lifelong, never-ending, learning process. But if you want to get good at it, you just have to look at real human figures. Don't practice from looking at other comic artists. Yeah, I saw your Forge piece, Nate. Looked like you were trying to push the musculature of it and everything. It's tricky, you know. But it's a good thing to try something out of your comfort zone, right? It's how we grow. Well, it's 8:30 where I'm at there, Tanisha. What time is it, everybody? Sound off the time where you're at, if you care to. Oh, we're hearing from the future. Is there still an atmosphere in the future? Have the mutant ants won the war? Wise man, why do you think comics are dying? I think that there's too many other pop culture distractions, phones and video games and movies and shit, and comics used to be a cheap disposable entertainment for kids, and kids don't read them anymore because I don't think they give a shit. Comics are like made for grown-ass adults who used to love them as kids. I'm not sure what's going to happen to comics when like the current crop of old farts like myself die out. There's no one to pick it up after us. Wise man, I think you've got the wrong mindset. I think based on your response there, you say, so it's not worth creating your own comic book? Am I wasting my time? You don't make comics because you're looking to have a financial future. You make these things because you love it and you have to. There is an audience out there. Crowdfunding is the way to go, and you can kind of find your own fan base. I know a guy who's making a great living, never worked for any major publisher at all. He's just doing it on his own, him and his former girlfriend, now wife, and they're just making books, and they found an audience, and they're making a solid living, but he had to spend time building up his presence online. But you have to make these because you love it, not because it's a means to financial security. I'm not making any money on this shit. I do this because I have to. Because I'm not happy if I'm not doing it. And I've made small amounts of money, not enough to live on, but a little bit of supplemental income. But you got to do it for the right reasons. If you like comics, do it because you love it.
Apple Card is the perfect card for your holiday shopping. Earn up to 2% daily cash back on every purchase. Apply now in the on iPhone. Subject
Yeah, Nate, right there, for real. If you're drawing comics,
with so many choices on booking.com.
Yeah, if you want to do comics, you also have to learn to, on some level, draw almost anything. Yeah, Nate, you're definitely right about that. People are aware of the characters, but it didn't seem to drive any business to the comics world. Nothing substantial, anyway. Nothing's moving the needle in that respect. Nate, you're asking, have I done a video with Mitch? Me and him did a live stream several months ago where we were both drawing and chatting it up. That was fun. I mean, we might, we don't. I don't talk to him or anything. We just kind of ran into each other and chit chatted back and forth. And I think I floated the idea, or he did. I can't remember which one of us, about doing a live stream together, and we did, and it was fun. I mean, we have several, crossover fans. So it was a good time as far as I was concerned. I hope he thinks it was. Wise man, do you do urban sketching? How do you learn to draw backgrounds? It's how do you learn to draw anything? You go out, find it, and then you draw it. You know, for buildings and stuff, you're going to need to learn, you know, perspective, 1 point, 2 point, 3 point perspective. You're going to have to learn to do it. But learning perspective doesn't teach you about the details to add into like a city scene. So you have to go and look at some pictures or something like that and add all the details. Um, a lot of beginners will just get the basic perspective down and draw like rectangular cubes, and then they'll get the basic perspective angles right, but then they don't have any life in the city. There's no street lamps, there's no mailboxes or garbage cans or people in the streets and cars, and it's all stuff that needs to be there to make it feel believable. And it's I find it boring to do, but you have to do it. So it's just one of those things. You just gotta, if you want it to look a certain way, you have to put in that effort to learn to do it. And then you got to study composition, like pay attention to cinematography, like in movies, how they frame a shot, how the camera's placed, high angle looking down, low angle looking up. We're gonna have to pick up that Absolute Batman one of these days. Everyone talks about how great it is, and I believe it. I'll have to find it and give it a shot. He's no Rob Norton. Yeah. Yeah. You guys are full of malarkey, but I love you. Nate.
We're not talking about human hair health and hairstyle.
Nate, you and your Conan soundtrack. I haven't settled on a name, Nate, for the book, but it's something offensive, probably. You know, the Jizzle Force. You know, dick in a jar. It's a little bit on the nose. Splat on a budget. feet in smoke, elite tactical team cats. Oh, that's really funny. Cyber illiterate. I like that one. I like cyber illiterate. I do have fantasy scenarios in my head that if I do a Kickstarter on this thing and it kind of gets some momentum, people want to see more. So I have to start coming up with ridiculous names like that for awesome, kind of mockery's sake. So maybe.
You know, most people quit their New Year's resolutions by the second Friday in January. It's actually called Quitter's Day.
Jeffrey, you haven't heard me talk about this thing? It's a parody of a Liefeld comic. I'm doing the follow-up issue story that he never did. He started an entire storyline in an issue of one of his books and then never finished it almost 10 years ago. And so I decided, well, I'm going to tell that story. So I'm redesigning a bunch of the characters, but telling that story. You need to go back and look on my channel, look up the Liefeld book video, Dick in a Jar, or the Blood Strike. But it's about the Dick in a Jar. Tony, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. But yeah, Jeffrey, if you watch that video, you'll see me just, besides ragging on Liefeld's crappy artwork, you'll see me talk about how they introduce this element into the story and they don't wrap it up. So then I went out and bought the trade collection of the book, and in a massive graphic novel, they never addressed this story point that I'm doing this on. And it pissed me off, so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. Just for fun. You don't have a superhero character get his dick cut off by his ex-girlfriend and, you know, cart it around in a jar, showing it to people, and then, like, not finish that story and address what happened to the dick. At least you don't in my world. Daniel, what is up, sir? Happy New Year to you too, sir.
Unlock more savings in the Smiths app. On top of low prices, shop weekly ads, include digital coupons, every week, plus track meal points.
Thanks, Danny. You like those reviews, the remakes? I know I go hard on the guy, but gosh, it just drives me nuts. I feel like he was so much better back when we were kids in the 90s, and it's just not the same. I can't bite my tongue. Maybe I could, but it's entertaining. Yeah, that's right, Dan. I remember you talking about that kind of old style that he had, that the skinny leg thing. I know what you're talking about, and I don't know. There was something there, kind of an Arthur Adams-ish something. Jeffrey, you dislike Liefeld more because of my channel. I don't know if that was my intention, but yeah. And Tony, I'm the same. That stuff I still find inspiring, even though, like, if you like, I reviewed all of them on my channel. Even though I still find artistic things that are like, why would anybody do this? I still like them. So it's a weird thing that's going on. Yeah, Dan, if you would have kept that style, who knows, right? The Cable series, is that the one drawn by T-Bear? Didn't he draw that, or am I... Yeah, was it Art T-Bear? Didn't he draw that Cable series? Besides that two-issue Cable series that John Romita Jr. drew?
flame that flickers one day and dies away. Then, with disillusion deep in your eyes, you learn that fools in love soon grow wise.
Dan, you're thinking he wasn't comfortable being as different as he was in the early days? It wasn't like Mike Mignola or Sam Keith, or like a person who was comfortable in their own skin as a weird kind of style artist? Yeah. Maybe he kind of. I feel like because he had so much success as a younger guy, the stuff that he was doing, he didn't feel like he had any. There was no need to kind of improve in the deficiencies that he had, because why should he? He's already successful, like massively, so he just kind of just kept going that way and then just never improved. Like maybe all that early success kind of hampered his growth. Yeah, second series with T-Bear, yeah. I never picked up that series. I don't think I was a big fan of T-Bear's artwork at the time, and there was always the financial aspect there. I only had a certain amount of money to spend on comics, and I guess a cable cable regular series wasn't something I was ready to spend what little money I had. He was pressured into streamlining his style. Yeah, I love the way he would ink his old stuff on those X-Force books and that New Mutants. Something just worked. There was something there, and then it disappeared really quick once Image Comics got going. I wish, because they're putting together a Liefeld art book, like a Image Comics art of Liefeld, but I think it's just all his like image work, Youngblood and stuff. And I would rather see one of the New Mutants X-Force stuff, like big full-size art book of all his X-Force stuff. I'm picking up the Youngblood one for sure, but maybe trying to run a studio was a time suck. That's fair. And he lacked the discipline to, yeah. You like his New Mutant stuff is still the best he ever did, even better than X-Force. Yeah, that's all the kind of magical stuff. I didn't get into New Mutants. The first issue of New Mutants I ever picked up on its own. I guess now that I think about it, I did read some issues of X-Force from the Extinction Agenda, but I wasn't aware of Liefeld or anything. I was just picking up for the story. But New Mutants 100 was the first book that I picked up specifically because like the hype had finally gotten around to me. I'm like, I need to try this, and then that cover I thought was awesome. So that was my first real exposure to Liefeld that I knew of. I think the first book of Liefeld's I ever picked up was the What If Wolverine Was an Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I didn't know that was him for the longest time because it looks so good. When you got Scott Williams inking you. First one for you was 95. Yeah, Extinction, Death of Warlock. Yeah. Yeah, that What If Wolverine was the agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.? That's one of the first books that I reviewed where Chuck Gibson kind of started chiming in with some comments on it because Chuck was trained by Scott Williams, and Scott Williams inked that book, and he had some interesting kind of commentary to say about that. Chuck did. Oh yeah, by the time 95 came out, even then you couldn't even go find 87 because the speculator boom. Yeah, exactly. Those everything took off. Well, I forget which was 87 the introduction of cable. Again, I missed all of those. That cover with Cable inked by McFarlane, that thing looks awesome. Liefeld inked by other artists can look really amazing, I think. Keep his energy, but give it some more skilled finish. New Mutants 89 was inked by Scott Williams. Now I gotta look it up. I'm sure I've seen it, but I just can't. Dude, Ginger Bear, what's up, brother? New Mutants. Sorry, what did you say? 89, right? Oh shoot, that one's inked by. Well, 89, the cover. Yeah, the cover says McFarlane. Was the inside? See, that's another book I've never seen. Like, I've seen the cover, but I've never seen the guts of it. I need to go back and find all these. I need to collect these up. Ginger Bear, you back from your Disney World, Disneyland vacation? Whichever one it was? Shit. God damn it. That's a good looking page. Let's see, 90. $50 is too old to be walking around standing in line for 12 hours every day. Oh yeah, you know, I've seen this, but I've never paid attention. But that's a whole other thing to look at now. You know, there's this great comment I was talking about on this video of what if Wolverine was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. And Chuck Gibson, he commented on it because I was saying, why did Liefeld's art look so good in this old issue of Wolverine? What if, previous to New Mutants and X-Force? Like, why did he look so good? And so Chuck, who again was trained by Scott Williams in the Image era, he says, I'll solve the mystery of this one for you. Scott Williams' inking on this job bordered on finishes. There's a part where Wolverine's leaning back in the chair, but Rob didn't draw the chair. So Scott came in on the inks and did all the stuff like that, which is why it's one of the single best Rob Liefeld art jobs ever in the minds of a lot of people. I worked with Scott and heard about it and saw some of these original pages. That's why it looks better. Just that simple. Scott Williams, best inker in the business, bar none. And so I thought that was a great kind of like, you know, commentary from a guy who was there. Right, Ginger, right? That's what it's like. I guess Scott Williams looking at it like, you didn't even draw the chair the guy's sitting in. Like, what's that all about? '94 is the best one with Liefeld inking himself. Let's see. Oh yeah, that classic cover. And he ripped off that gun from a G.I. Joe cover, but that's still pretty dang good. Yeah, that Wolverine looks awesome. See, that Cable right there, that face, that is what Cable should look like. Whenever I think of Cable, that's what he's supposed to look like. Just that look that Liefeld gave him, with the receding hairline and everything. That's him. And the way Liefeld draws him now, he gives him like the Tom Cruise haircut and everything. It's just, it's not the same. But yeah, all this stuff is awesome. Yeah, best Cable. I agree completely. That's what he should look like. In my mind, where I fantasize that I get a gig drawing something for Marvel and I get to draw Cable, he's going back to looking like that, I promise you. Except that Marvel would probably be like, we've moved beyond that. Don't draw him that way. The energy was 100%. Yeah. You are very, very correct. Yeah, that was the more I think about it, it was just such a magical time in comics. I'm sure a lot of it just has to do with the fact that I was just a kid, and it was just so fun. There's so much excitement with everything. Damn, you want more Hawk and Dove reviews? Well, those are the only ones I got. In terms of the Hawk and Dove stuff, I found them at my local comic shop bundled together that I paid way too much money for, but I was like, well, I got a YouTube channel, so it might pay me back if they go over well. And I just had to see them so I could be the dick that I am and just shit all over them. I've seen some of that artwork, and it's crazy how much different it was, like how much better it was, and in every kind of technical kind of aspect. I don't think he'd quite developed his energetic kind of stuff quite then, but he certainly had something. And again, it's something I don't have, so I'll have to see if I can't track it down for a reasonable price, but I would like to do that. I would like to show off those old ones. Give them a once over. Thank you, Mr. Daniel Bedrosian. Thanks for stopping in as always. Hope you have a good evening, sir. I know that Liefeld barked a lot about he inked his own faces on the Youngblood stuff when he brought on Danny Meeke because it didn't work out very well a couple times, and so Liefeld would ink the faces and then hand it back off. But I don't know about that on if that was true on the Hawk and Dove stuff. I could certainly see I could certainly see an inker doing a lot of corrections. I don't know if you follow Ginger Bear, the Eric Larson page on Facebook, but he posted his first Marvel gig. He's got scans of the pencils, and then he was inked by, I think it was Vince Coletta. And holy shit, did Coletta railroad Larson's work. And Larson's pencils looked good, but they just changed it into such a house style, just obliterating Larson's faces and things like that. I'm like, man, I'd be pissed off. Like, what am I here doing this for if these guys are just going to obliterate what I do in favor of this dumb house style they think we need to have? Yeah. So you saw it. Yeah, it just, I was like, I can't believe this, dude. I've been so mad. I mean, Larson's definitely got a unique style, but then if you don't like it, why are you hiring him? And if you're hiring him, let him do his thing. And eventually, obviously, Larson made a name for himself, and he was allowed to be who he was, but goddamn, did they just shred his work. Yeah, Larson was kind of chill about it. He's like, you know what, it was 1,000 years ago. Why piss and moan about it now? I'm like, yeah, that's fair. I should be available, Ginger Bear. I don't think I've got anything else going on. The only thing I'm going to try and do is I was going to try and go catch that new Nosferatu movie. I'd heard it's really good, but I'm going to try and do that early in the day. But I got nothing else to do as far as I know, so I should be available, dude. Yeah, I didn't even know it existed, man. This YouTube reviewer that I really like recommended it, and I was like, I didn't even know this was a thing. So I watched the review on it. I'm like, oh shit, that looks awesome. I don't know how I missed it. So I definitely want to check it out. I think he's the guy who did that movie, the Witch, right? Where the W looked like two V's. Um, if it's that director, I've only ever seen that movie of his, but man, that was a unsettling movie to say the least, and I like that. So creepy. Yeah, really, and he's not a very old guy too. I think he's kind of a relatively young guy. So I like seeing something this good from a younger guy. Oh, right. I've heard of Northman. The Lighthouse, I only vaguely heard about it. Um, did he do all of the Northman? Why do I feel like I thought I heard he had like a partial involvement? Either way, I heard that was great too. So I definitely want to check it out. Yeah, I'm probably wrong on that, but still, I gotta see if I can find it on streaming somewhere and check it out. Excuse me. Yes, that is very specifically why that's in there. It's to break the string. I figured he'd break the bow too, but he's literally going to be yelling at her, "We don't have strings in this comic, you know, strings on our bows." Something to that effect. It's a very specific dig. This is no joke, sir. I was really just going to have him chop her and kill her or something, but she's actually going to survive the ordeal. But not her bow and arrow. Right. But the other guy, the big dude here, the Wolverine ripoff guy, he's going to come to a very gruesome, very quick demise. He's not gonna fare very well. Heather Lawson, hello, thank you. Appreciate that.
At Smith's Pharmacy, Care is making it easy to save more. Most insurance plans and discount cards are accepted. Care is
Thanks, Jeffrey. I appreciate it, as always. Hope you have a good night. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate that, Wiseman. I like Jim Lee better. Brickety. It's only 9:45, so there's still a little bit of time for me where I'm at. Wiseman, it's just a preference. I've been following Jim Lee since the late 80s. So he's been part of my artistic comic book fandom for years. I just prefer his figure work. I'm not, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with Finch, but Finch is great. He's amazing. He's a master, but I just prefer Jim Lee. I just like his look better. Yeah, Ginger Bear's right there too. And for the longest time, Jim Lee was the greatest artist in the history of ever to me. It's not quite that way anymore. I'd put Silvestri ahead of him in my personal opinion. Brickety, it's nearly 5 in the morning for you. You just got back from a New Year's party and about to head off to bed. Well, thanks for stopping in. Yeah, Ginger Bear, me and you too, dude. It's just so good. It's such good stuff. Wiseman, you feel like Finch over-renders sometimes? I would agree with that. I think he can overdo it. But I think like a lot of artists, like they'll have their off moments, but when they're on, like when Finch is kind of on fire, he's just killing it, But, and for me personally, Finch had some eras of his artwork where I got sick of it and I actively chose to stop collecting David Finch artwork. I used to collect a book because he drew it, and I stopped collecting a book because he drew it. Just something about the way he was doing certain things just drove me nuts, and I could not stand it anymore. And it's not really the case anymore, but Jim Lee never made me want to stop collecting a book. I stopped collecting work he did because he was working on characters I don't give a shit about, like everything of DC. I love Jim Lee, but I don't care to see Jim Lee draw Batman too much. I'm not personally excited for that. Oh, Ginger Bear, for real. Now, he's gotten better with his female faces. His early stuff, his Aphrodite 9, and his Ascension work, those Top Cow books, they were atrocious. Like, so pointy and angular. Yeah, he's definitely better, but it was never his strong suit. He said in an interview one time, I think it was Joe Benitez at Top Cow, told him flat out, he's like, dude, you got to work on your female faces. That shit sucks. And so he made an effort to do that. Yeah, Brian Boland, he's obviously great. Hard truth, right? And Joe Benitez could draw really good female faces, really sensual and, really attractive. So it probably made him cringe every time he saw it. And he's like, dude, you gotta fix this. you gotta solve this problem somehow. Brickety, if I could have any comic artist magically transfer you all they know about art, who would you choose? For me, it would either be Mark Silvestri or Adam Hughes. Maybe Mike Mignola. Yeah, Ginger Bear Silvestri for you. Yeah, he's so good. Bushima, yeah. For this page specifically, I've been leaning into some old school Mark Silvestri kind of heavily shadowed vibe. Yeah, Bushima, which is like early Silvestri anyway. Yeah, that's a good point, dude. I'm trying to do a Silvestri-ish kind of thing. And obviously I'll fail, but just trying to absorb some of that. Thanks, Ginger. I'm trying to make it. I know what I want it to look like in my head, but we'll see if I can actually make that translate right. Yeah, I've got both his arms kind of popping out from the border. I just kind of feel like when done right, that kind of, I don't know, it adds a layer of kind of excitement or visual interest for whatever reason. I remember one of the first lessons I read back when I was a kid trying to learn how to be a comic artist is they said never, ever, ever break the border. And so I took that as like, well, that's a hard rule. But then I saw my favorite artists doing it. And I'm like, well, are you allowed to or not? But I think that was just a lesson from one of the old timers. That's fair. Yeah, that makes sense. Ginger Bear. Yeah, maybe they're just like trying to like, because that's another thing I would see. Not that I was any kind of an expert, but over the years I've seen newer, inexperienced artists doing all the flashy shit all over the place, but it's like they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know why they were breaking the border or doing this weird kind of flashy art thing that they saw the big artists do. So that would make sense to me. Brickety, you basically just hit me up. I don't, I'm just a guy just making my books on my own. All I really have available are my Masters of the Universe fan comics, which are 6 graphic novel-sized books that I just kind of work it out with a person kind of on your own privately. But until I get this thing done, that's basically all I've got. Yeah, Ginger Bear, all flash, no skill, like every 90s artist imitator used to do. Yeah. Wiseman, what's my opinion on Kim Jong Gi? Is that how you say his name? That guy was like god level, unbelievable. It's like untouchable, brilliance. I still can't believe that he could do what he could do. Just take a marker to a giant canvas and draw the most detailed, perfectly in perspective, whimsical, fun, anatomically accurate, technologically flawless. It's just unbelievable. Percy Hatson, what tools do I use to ink? Yeah, I use a little of everything. Like I'm using a brush and dip ink. I've got technical pens, repeatiographs, Pitt pens, Pentel pocket brush pens. Like I use everything that I can find that helps me get the look I'm going for. I appreciate that, Brickety. I mean, I'm okay. I have no illusions that I could work for the big companies. I'm not. I have some big deficiencies that maybe not are apparent here. I'd like to think there's a possibility if I could draw this well back in the 90s that maybe one of those studios might have thought about picking me up, maybe. But who knows? But I mean, I appreciate it. I'm not trying to be self-depreciating. I'm not, like, I'm okay. But there's some stuff that I really struggle with, and you can't see it on this page. But I do appreciate it. I try my best. I want to be as good as I can. Ball just dropped. Happy New Year, East Coast. Same to you, Ginger Bear. Yeah, Wiseman, you definitely got to be able to get your workout in a timely manner. That's a big part of it. And then as you get kind of, I don't know, a better reputation, you could probably get gigs where you're allowed a little bit more time in between, but and then it's hard being a guy like myself where we're just doing it for fun on the side. Can't exactly pump this stuff out super fast, so. But like I said, we do the best we can. Yeah, well, Bricky, I've talked about that a lot. In modern day, you don't really need to go through the big companies. If you've got the skill and you can put your work out there on all the various social media platforms, you can get seen and then you can make a living doing it. I have a buddy that does exactly that. Him and his his wife now, they're making their own comics. They've never worked for the big companies. They're making a good living making comics on their own. And they've got quite the little fan base that makes them live just fine making their own books. And people are like, you should work for Marvel. He's like, why should I? I could just do this on my own and do the stuff that I like. Yeah, I could wait 10 years and do Superman when he's in public domain. I think I'll wait and see how DC handles that kind of. They're going to have some very specific things that are like, this element of Superman is ours. Plus, you could just make your own Superman type character and just do the story anyway. Yeah, Shocula, Isaac Bell. The guy's a badass. I knew him on a website years ago before he kind of had his kind of fame that he's doing now. And he's come a long way, but he spent just a bunch of years developing a fan base, posting on websites, and did his first Kickstarter a couple of years ago and made his goal in 15 minutes and ended at $30,000 on his first one. And it was all based on artwork that's nostalgic for 90s era comics, which is what he leans into big time. Yeah, you got Metal Shade #1? Yeah, I've got all his books. He found his audience and just doing his thing. Him and his girl Alexa Lowe. Batman 2 being delayed again? I don't know. I enjoyed the last Batman movie, actually, surprisingly, a lot more than I thought that I would, but I don't know. Superhero movies don't get me super excited too much anymore. So whenever it happens, I'll check it out and hopefully it'll be awesome. You know what's crazy, Shocula, is that Isaac Bell kind of hit me up and kind of wanted me to come do some work for him. And I told him, I don't know if I can do that because I've got kind of my own brand going, so to speak, like my own channel that's working, and I'm getting a little bit of momentum, and the kind of what he wanted me to do with him would have taken up all my time. And it was kind of a hard decision to make, but I kind of had to tell him I got to pass because I've got my own thing that's going for the first time ever in my life, and I don't want to set it aside to do something for somebody else. And of course, he understood. He's like, yeah, do that, man. But a little bit of a debate inside my head. Well, that's something I don't want to, I mean, it's a little trickier than that, Brickety. Like, it's a good idea, but it's not quite that simple. It's not impossible to think of as being a possibility in the future, though. I'm doing good with the views. You mean just on my channel, just in general? Son of a bitch. Yeah, Gingerberry crossed 6,000, dude. And in a year and a half, I'm at 6,000 subscribers. It's, no one is more surprised than me. Well, thanks, Brickety. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's what I was kind of talking about. I've been drawing for a long time, but you know, I start this YouTube channel just on a whim, just for fun, just to why not, and it just kind of picked up, and it's made me some connections to people that I wouldn't have had otherwise, like Ginger Bear in here and a couple things like that, and it's kind of paid off for me in ways I never thought, and it's given me an opportunity. So whenever I want to maybe do a crowdfunder for my own book, I've got an audience to share it with, rather than just being a nobody throwing a Kickstarter out there that no one's ever heard of. So that's the ultimate goal. But yeah, my channel's got me hooked up with an inker who used to ink for Wildstorm Studios. He was taught by Scott Williams himself, and he inked Jim Lee once, and he's working with me on these books. So if you don't think that doesn't make me feel humbled. Yeah, it's Chuck. Yeah. And then Chuck and Ginger Bear, they knew each other. They worked together a long time ago, so I've made that connection through him. So that's why we're friends. Sorry, not real Alexander. Do I sell these pages or keep them? I mean, no one's asking me to buy them. So, I mean, It's not that I'm not doing it for any particular reason, just beyond I'm still a nobody, so no one's like, oh my god, I need your pages. One guy bought some pages from me this last summer for the first time. But generally speaking, I don't have anybody interested in buying my shit. But maybe one day that'll change. Brickety, you know, a lot of big channels say they got their start with the gimmick. Like every Sunday you could do a video like Sketch Sunday where you show the process of drawing a new character. I've thought about things like that. Yeah, Chuck's a good guy. He's a very talented dude, and the work he's doing with me. Ginger, you use Chuck to get to me? I love it. Use me. I'm going to show you let's see, looking for Chuck's. Like, this is the inks that he'd sent me, what he's working on so far, on the current page that he's working on. It's just kicking ass, man. Yeah, I mean, it's in process, but his digital inking looks awesome, because to me, yeah, right? It doesn't scream digital. I mean, there are elements to it for sure, but it's got enough of a hand-drawn organic quality to it that I like, that I prefer. And he's got it. And then he can add gray tones and zipatone designs. There we go. Here's another page in process that he's working on. This is basically page 1 to the book. Marshall. Yeah, we're meshing really well. It's beneficial to him. I mean, he kind of reached out to me and asked if he could do some work with me. So, like I said, it's very humbling to me. So I try to do the best work I can possibly do to honor, his efforts. I can't wait till he sends me the final shot of these. Like, this is mostly done. You remember this one, Ginger Bear? He's kicking the shit out of that page. I can't wait to see the final version. He told me when he was done with this bow and arrow girl, he's like, she's going to be super hot when I'm done with her. And he wasn't kidding. Like, that looks awesome. That girl, I mean, she was kind of the least interesting part of the page, but I'm like, suddenly it's kind of just as cool as, like, there's giant robot and then big muscular, 90s image kind of bullshit character. But then I tried to draw the girl as hot as I could make her, but he's really making this one shine. Like, yeah, I can't wait to see this thing. Yeah, he says this bitch is gonna be smoking fucking hot when I get done with her, he says. I'm like, haha. So, yeah, it's just working out. So I'm hoping that this artwork that's going to be in this book, I'm inking some of the pages, but all the really, really fun, cool ones, I'm going to let Chuck do. I'm hoping that our artwork together will be enough to get people interested if we do a crowdfunder. That's the goal to me. I feel like it carries a look that would be, appealing to people that like this kind of stuff. So I hope. So we'll see. All right, Ginger Bear. Yeah, I'll catch you later, dude. I'm not gonna be on here much longer myself. Yeah, I'll check you out for sure. Unless I get pulled away for something else. Oh, I print up my own books. I've got a whole shelf of my own printed up books behind me. I go to this place called Comics Wellsprings. The price is fine, you know, but the cool part is they let you do a small minimum, like only 25 issues minimum. You don't have to order 100 or 500 or 1,000 or some shit. So, you know, I've got my own stuff. Like, let me grab them. Oh, yeah. 5, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Right in order. Yeah. See, if you could see these 5 volumes. That's book 1. There's book 2. Book 3. And those are kind of like a self-contained story there. And then I start off on a new chapter in my little fan comic here. Book 4. It's the back cover. And then you got book 5. Again, these are big books. Here's the back cover to book 5. And obviously the guts are only black and white. I can't color and I can't afford to pay anybody to color. So I just had this Masters of the Universe fan comic I started years ago, and I just kept going with it. And I eventually just put it all together. No, I don't have a website. I've just got YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, but not a website. So that's book 5. And then the one I just finished this year, just this summer, this one, the final volume, book 6. That's Chuck Gibson's inks on the back cover here. And a huge book, big book. There's one of my favorite pages that Chuck inked right there. That panel of the character there. And then this whole page he inked, and I think it's one of the best looking pages in the book for sure. Chuck inked the hell out of this one. More inks by Chuck. Boom, how's that right there? Anyway, yeah, I just keep these on hand and I hook them up to people. Yeah, I could. I just part of me is like I don't know how to make a website. I don't know. I feel like some people ask me if I like have an Etsy shop, something like that, to put them on there and my own artwork and prints and things like that. It's something I need to get really serious about. Um, Hell, I even need to like be promoting them on my own channel a little bit more. Just like, hey, by the way, I have my own fan comic. Like, put a little 10-second thing before every video on my channel or something like that. You're 100% correct. I should. I haven't. There's there's my dumbass, and then a friend of mine that helps me with the creative process, a friend of mine who did some art modeling for me. She's in this book as an art model, and then a guy that helped me put the book together, and then my kids down there. And then the final page, the last page of the book right there by me and Chuck, that one come out really well. And a bunch of pinups by some friends. Anyway, yeah, I've got my own books for sure. I'm not promoting them the best way possible, but I gotta fix it. I definitely need to get on that. Just only so much time in the day. As long as I hold that string, I'm this silly soul and soul. If I can ever let it go, I've got the world on a string. Yeah, Etsy's something I keep thinking about. I need to hit up some people I know that do it and see if there's any drawbacks or good or bad or whatever the case may be. Yeah, and then post the link to all over my channel. Yeah, you're 100% correct. Just find part of the problem for me, part of it, and it's not much of an excuse, is that in between working a full-time job and trying to draw my comics and doing the YouTube channel, it's hard to find the time and the energy sometimes to do everything that I should be doing. But then if I just get it going, I could probably get some better success. And I just gotta just break down and just do it. What do you mean, like only post every Monday and Fridays? Like spread them out? Is that what you mean? See, I've got videos uploaded for the next 4 days already. I try to take a day during the week and just film a bunch of them for the week ahead in advance. I've got stuff loaded up through Friday or Saturday already. But those days, they do take up a couple hours. So, I've thought about that, but one thing that's like I was gonna, when I started, I didn't intend to upload every day, but I just did, and then everything was going really well, and I was gonna stop doing every day once I hit a year in, just to kind of prove to myself, like, I did it for a year, I could do it, I knew I did. But then I monetized my channel. I get ad revenue. And so I'm making money. It's not a lot. It's about $20 to $30 a week. So about $120, $130, $140 a month. But if I suddenly go back to only twice a week, that ad revenue disappears. Again, it's not a lot, but I just kind of pull it out and save it. Like, it's kind of dumb, but I pull it out in cash from the bank, and I've got it all right here in a box. This is all my YouTube money for the last maybe year, and I just kind of keep it as like an emergency, like just set aside separately. And Believe me, I wanted to go, you know, I was going to go every other day, but then suddenly I got my channel monetized and started making a few bucks. I'm like, oh, well, now I can't stop. I got to keep going, because I would still be making, a little bit of ad revenue, but it would be very little. You have to hit $100 minimum to get paid out on a monthly basis. And I've made it every month since I started. And I don't want to slow that down. I want to keep the momentum going. But it's also sucking up time, like we were talking about, and maybe not letting me get to the opportunity to do some things that would help me get some more better momentum if I could kind of get things organized better. But yeah, everything you're saying, Brickety, I feel like is good advice and the correct thing. I do feel like, I've got a channel with a not insubstantial viewer count. I feel like I'm sitting on an opportunity that I'm not taking full advantage of, and I'm not exactly sure how to capitalize on it completely. I have some ideas. I've got a buddy of mine who's willing to do some video editing for me. So I want to do some videos that are like commentary or just opinions on pop culture stuff, movies and stuff like that, where there's some editing into it, showing clips from the shows and things like that, little gags and humor. I just don't have the time to do the editing part, but I got a buddy of mine who's willing to do that for me. And if I could kind of get that to take off, yeah, getting the Etsy is I think that is the next easy step in terms of getting a little bit of money in my direction, if that's what I'm looking for, which it is. I don't do this for the money, but let's be real, we all need cash. You know what I mean? I just had to spend $11,000 a couple of months ago to get my furnace and AC replaced. That hurt. So that came out of savings, and I would really like to replace that. Yeah, for real. Yeah, like I said, I'm not trying to make it sound like, this isn't a thing to make money on, but if I can make money on it, I would definitely like to do that. Just a little bit of supplemental passive income. Like, doesn't have to be a lot. It would be nice if it's a lot, but I'm fine with, like, the little bit that's coming in, and it goes up little by little, The more viewers, the more ad revenue, the easier I hit that $100 minimum. So I just gotta get a little more serious about a couple of things. Well, I think I need to. I've been going for almost 2.5 hours. I think I'm done for the night. But Brickety, thanks for the conversation. I appreciate it. I really do. Appreciate your interest and advice and suggestions. I really do. It means a lot. Yep. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. All right, anybody else that's still watching, I'm going to shut it down for now. So thank you. I really appreciate it. And catch everyone next time.